Hello my lovely friends, my name is Ava and today I'm going to be talking about all the books that I ended up reading in July. So setup is a little different. I have moved, that's why there's been a lack of videos, and I also have a new computer. That is why also you have not been getting videos from me. All my iMovie footage is gone. My last computer, the whole motherboard was fried and they could not save it. So the only thing that I have left from my previous videos is my intro clip. That's the only thing that I was able to find somehow on my files. And excuse Winnie, she's chewing on something if you hear a sound. But yeah, your girl has been through the ringer in July. That's why I honestly did not read a lot of books. I did not. And the majority of them were rereads because I reread for comfort. When I'm feeling really crappy or when I'm feeling in the rut, I reread a book. And your girl was put through the ringer this month with emotions and everything. So I did a lot of rereading. So this wrap up is probably going to be kind of short, probably the shortest one I've had in a long time, and that is a-okay. So please bear with me. Videos might be slow coming out. We'll see what happens because I kind of have to start from scratch and I have lost some very valuable footage to me and I'm a little sad about it. So yeah, I ended up reading 11 books in July and 5 of those were rereads for me. So let's get started. The first one that I have on the docket is On the Mountain by Riley Hart. I saw this man on the cover and needed to listen to it. I got this off of my Hoopla and it's an MM romance. This book starts out with one of our heroes who is the reclusive man on the mountain. He has been through a lot in his life. He was in a cult growing up and hasn't 100% recovered from it. Everyone in the cult ended up escaping the mountain where he grew up on, and he was a sole inheritor of it. So he lives on this mountain where this commune used to be all by himself, and he comes down to the town at the bottom of the mountain to get supplies every now and then, and there he runs into our other hero who is new to town, and he is recently sober and is wanting to stay on that track. He can't help but be intrigued by this burly, rugged mountain man that everyone seems to be terrified of. And yeah, both of them have interests in each other, let's just say that. This book delves into a lot with trauma and addiction, so please be aware of that. I just thought we were going to get a hot novella about 2 men falling in love with a mountain. No, like there's a lot going on in this, emotions wise. Both of them are dealing with a lot, so please be aware before going in. But I really did love seeing these two like men fall for each other and connect over something no one else has before. They've both been through a lot in their lives and no one has really understood that until they've met each other. So I thought it was beautiful in that aspect. Tropes in here, mountain men, it's MM, there's mental health representation, forced proximity. They're stuck in a snowstorm in his house on the mountain, caretaking scenes, and you have an alpha hero. Next, I picked up Epic by Serena Bowen and Elle Kennedy. This is book number 2.5 in the Him and Us duet, so it takes place after the Him and Us duet, and it's just a little snippet novella about Jamie and Wes, and it was really cute. It was really cute. I read the duet the month prior and had no idea that there was a novella, so I had to listen to it. It was so cute. There's nothing else I can really say because you have to read this after you read the duet. You can't read it as a standalone. So if you didn't know about the Him and Us duet, it's a hockey romance duet about 2 best friends, 2 men falling in love with each other, and they also love hockey, and it's a grand old time. It's a grand old time. Now we have some rereads I'd love to mention. Again, was going through some stuff in July and I was like, you know what I want to do? I want to listen to this bitch again. I just skipped over number 1. I was like, no, we're not even doing number 1. We're going straight to number 2. So this is A Quarter Missing Fury, the second book in the ACOTAR series. And yeah, I listened to this one on graphic audio. I've listened to it before. I re-listened to it on graphic audio. This is like a comfort series for me where I honestly don't have to pay attention all that much and just get sucked in and the whole world around me falls away, which is what I needed at the time. So I reread that and then I immediately jumped into also the graphic audio for A Quarter of Wings of Ruin. So yeah, I listened to both of these back to back. Love that for me. Anyone asking about Silver Flames, I took a pause on rereading them just because the graphic audios are expensive to buy on Audible, because I would like to buy them because I would like to keep them, and also the wait on the library is forever long for them. So I'm taking a pause until I get a little more extra cash rolling in my bank account so that I can afford to get more of them. But yeah, I will be doing a reread of that one as well, because I think I've only read that book once when it came out. So your girl needs to do a reread. But yeah, this was a great time rereading these books, re-listening to them. They're great comfort reads. I can't say that enough. Next, I have Her Soul to Take by Hardly the Rue. This book has been recommended to me plenty of times from people, and it's because the hero is a demon. I actually had a copy of this book. It was beautiful with sprayed edges and everything. I found it at a half-price books and decided, you know what, I think I might love it. So why not just get it now where I can find it at a half price for cheaper. But honestly, this book was okay to me, which I feel bad saying that. I always feel bad saying anything is okay when it's popular, or just any book in general. Like, that's an author wrote it, like I feel bad. But like, this book is just, it was fine for me. I think I'm in my era of being very cynical of love and sex. So maybe it was just the era that I'm in right now. I'm feeling very cynical about it. I was listening to this and being like, more sex. That's a me problem. It is a me problem. I understand. If you don't know what this book is about, we have our hero who is a demon, and he's been under the thumb and controlled by this group of evil witches, I guess, in this town. The heroine travels back to this town. She actually grew up in this town when she was a little girl, but her family traveled outside of it. But her whole extended family, like millennia behind her, are originated from this town specifically. They come into contact when he's like disguised as a human, and she ends up by some way accidentally getting his summoning book, like just plops in her lap, and she likes like the ghosts and the mystical aspects of life, kind of like it's like a ghost hunter herself. And so she decides to perform the seance in the book to summon a demon, not actually thinking it's going to happen. And the hero shows up. That's how it starts. I'm gonna say there were things I really loved about this book. Both of our characters are bisexual, which is very rare for me to read it. Like it's rare. It's rare where maybe one is, not both of them. So I really did love that representation. And I loved like the dark, spooky elements as well. Tropes for this one: bi-representation, dark paranormal, dark romance, a demon, and it is smutty. I reread Marrying Winterborn by Lisa Kleypas. I was a little behind on this with my move and with my job and everything. I was not able to read this book in time for the live show, but I also wasn't feeling well in general, so that's why I ended up not even finishing it, because I was too ill to go to the live show, which sucks because I didn't even go to the one before that either. I'm a part of a Ravenelle's read along, where once a month we read a book in the Ravenelle series. Other co-hosts are Christy, B, Tiffany, and Rachel. I'll link them all down below. I love them all very dearly, and we're reading, like I said before, one book a month in the Ravenelle series. So last month was Marrying Winterborn, and it's the second book in the Ravenelle series. I love this series. This is my favorite series by Lisa Kleypas. Historical romances, by the way, if you didn't know. This one specifically, you actually got to meet these two characters, kind of meet and somewhat kind of start falling for each other in the first book. So you have to read the first book before this one. You can't read it as a standalone, in my humble opinion. I'm not the reading police, do what you want, but I think you get the best out of it if you do read book number one. Helen is our heroine, and she comes from the Ravenelle family, who is titled. Reese Winterborn is her love interest, and he is the owner of the world's largest department store. He grew up kind of like basically in the slums, like with no money to his name, and he sees Helen as this opportunity to up his standing in society, to have a wife who is a lady, and then they actually end up falling for each other throughout. Next, I read Dom by S.J. Tilley. This one was fantastic. I loved this one. This is the romance between Val and Dom. Dom is the head of a mafia. Val is traveling on an airplane, or going through an airport at the beginning of this book, and she ends up meeting and bumping into Dom, and they start this conversation. They actually end up being seated right next to each other on the flight, and they may or may not want to join the Mile High Club. You know, I don't know. Yeah, you gotta read it to find out. But they have a grand old time together, meeting, and then afterward they have this like text chain conversation that goes on for months, and she's slowly falling in love with this man, and she goes to meet up with him, I think in Vegas. Like, they end up across each other again in person. He tricks her into marrying him, and he has a bunch of reasons why. The main one being he's now part of her family, and he can get into her half-brother's mafia family, which is what he wanted in the end, but he never expected to actually fall for this woman that he was going to use. So that's all I'll leave you with. It's a great mafia romance. I think it's my favorite in the series so far. You had a bunch of tropes in this one: mafia, plus size rep, alpha hero, marriage of convenience, age gap, angsty, touch and die, and an obsessed hero. I reread Assault to Keep by Opal Rain for my in-person book club at the bookstore that I work at. I convinced our Romantasy book club to pick up their first ever Monster Fudger book, okay? And I'm so glad that I did, because the girls had a great time. Our conversations were hilarious. We could not stop laughing, and just like everyone was so surprised that they thought Orpheus, our monster hero, was so incredibly hot. Yeah, he is. Yes, he is. This is the romance between Orpheus and Rhea. And yeah, it takes place in like a fantasy-esque world. Demons and monsters and humans all exist together. Rhea gets given to Orpheus as a bride price for protection over her village. She's given unwillingly, but she doesn't also want to be killed by Orpheus, so she goes along with it. And all Orpheus has wanted his entire life is someone to love and cherish, and he takes her to this cabin he made in the woods. Oh my gosh, Winnie. I don't remember where I left off. I had to go give Winnie a toy to make her stop barking at the door. Yeah, they end up living in this cabin together and fall for each other. I love the more low-key, slow burn, character-driven romantasies, and that's what I got here in this one. I love this one, 5 stars. I love this whole series, and I need to continue on. I've only read up to book number 3, so your girl needs to read more, but I'm so glad I reread this. It was a great reread. This is the first time I ever listened to it, because I think when I first read it, there was no audio. There now is, and it's a duet narration that is phenomenal. Like, Orpheus's voice is top-notch amazing in the audiobook. I have a few other monster ones to mention really fast. So I read The Librarians Gargoyle by Evelyn Shine. I actually saw this book at the store that I work at. We have a whole LGBTQ section. It's huge. And I was reshelving some stuff and I saw this cover and I was like, what the heck is this? I need this now. So I got it off of Kindle Unlimited. It's a sapphic gargoyle romance that takes place in like the late 1800s in Paris. Like, it was so fun. It was so fun. Basic premise, our heroine, who is a human, she feels very neglected in her home life. She's like the last of 7 children, I think, in her family, and she escapes the house every so often to hang out with these gargoyles on this terrace in I think one of the houses next to them, or the buildings next to them. And there's one gargoyle who stands kind of like with their arms like this, so she lays in the gargoyle's arms and like chit chats to the gargoyle, even names it Iggy, and she's just in love with this gargoyle, like considers it her best friend, tells her stories and everything. Little does that little girl know that that gargoyle is actually real, and it's just frozen at the moment, but that gargoyle is actually like a shifter. Like, it can shift into like it's like it can move. So it can shift to like its stone form, or it can move, right? So it jumps years later where our human heroine is now grown up. She's a librarian. There's a bunch of things going on in here, but one of the main things is our Iggy character. I won't spoil anything else, but our Iggy gargoyle character has decided she would like to maybe court our little human, and she asks her creator, this magician who is her creator, for a way to converse and interact with her. And there's this ring where if she puts it on, she can have a human form. And that's all I'll leave you with. Like, oh my gosh, it was so swoony and cute. And there's also cool magical aspects in here. It was so fun. There's like a bunch of tropes for this one, but the ones that stuck out were there's sapphic representation, and there's monsters, and we have a hidden identity, and also gargoyles. I then have A Darkness So Sweet by Emma Hamm. I read this for our Beam Me Up book club. This is a book club that Tiffany and I run from TikTok's pages. If you want to join us next month, by the way, where's the book? We're gonna be reading this book in August, by the way, in case you didn't know. So stay tuned for that one. I just thought I'd throw that out there. But anyway, A Darkness So Sweet. We both love Emma Hamm. So this book kind of gave me Radiance vibes at the beginning. These two people are forced to get married when they do not want to. One is a human woman. The other one is a troll who has a high standing, like an orc general, I think. Anyway, they don't want to get married to each other at all, but they're forced to. That's all I can really say. It's about the two of them exploring their marriage and their relationship, and the hero was told by these witches in his village that whoever he does marry, like that is his fated mate who he's fated to. and she will make him all powerful. And he's like, how is this woman going to be doing that? Like, really? And so he actually starts to get to know her more and to fall for this tiny little human woman who he thought was so fragile and so weak. He finds out that she's anything but, and it was great. Not my favorite Emma Hamm book. Whispers of the Deep gets that one from me. But this one was really good as well, and I do want to continue on with the series. If you'd like to know more of Tiffany and I's thoughts, I'll link the live show for this down below. Some tropes for this one: it's a romantasy, fated mates, forced marriage, hate to love, a married couple, there are monsters in here, and we have a lot of magic going on. And the last book that I have to mention is Devil in Spring by Lisa Kleypas. This is the third book in the Ravenel series. I reread this for the Ravenel's read along. We have our live show next week, and I just decided to get it done early. And this live show is actually going to be on my channel on the 10th. I'm pretty sure the 10th of August. This one is my favorite in the series, probably one of my favorite historical romances of all time. I love Pandora and I think his name's Gabriel, right? Yeah, Gabriel, sorry. I'm really bad with the names, even in my favorite books. These two get put in a compromising position at a ball at the beginning of the story. Neither of them want to get married, but he ruined her. They didn't do anything like untoward or kiss or anything like that. Literally, she, part of her dress gets stuck in a settee, and he's trying to help her out of it, but he kind of gets stuck as well. And it kind of looks like something wrong is going on, and people come across them and she's ruined, so he's gonna marry her. And he's like, crap, I didn't want to do this. But the more he gets to know Pandora and her quirks and her loving good nature, like, he starts falling for this woman. Is like, I cannot have anyone else, and she cannot belong to anyone else. She is mine. And he has to try to convince this a very independent woman to be his. If you love Eloise Bridgerton in the Bridgerton TV series, you're gonna fall in love with Pandora. She is very Eloise coded from that show, or vice versa, because I think Pandora was written before that show came out. Anyway, very independent, doesn't want to get married, just wants to create board games and has a board game business, just wants to do that and doesn't want a husband. So it's gonna take Gabriel a lot of convincing to have her be his wife. I love this one, 5 stars. I will never not shut up about it. So I can't wait to discuss it with my friends on the live show next week. Anyways, there you have it. Those were all the books I ended up reading in July. Let me know down below if you've read any of these books or if you plan to. And if you don't feel like commenting anything else, you can leave me. Let's do a bunny emoji when he has a bunny toy right here. But anyways, thank you all so much for watching. I will see y'all soon in my next one. Bye y'all.
Oh, and I keep finding dog ears that you left in my books. Miss your hate, can I just crash over? Guess you crashed in like a tsunami. Woke up next to you so hungover, sunlight painted stripes.